Tell Me About It is brought to you by Don Franklin Auto of Glasgow, Extreme Health Club, and Lockshield Partners Accounting Services.
Ben Hayes, KY Sports TV.
James Brown, 104thescore.com. We're here back again this week on Tell Me About It, Glasgow EPB Channel 6, the local channel. You can also find it on the Glasgow EPB YouTube channel. You can find the shows on 104thescore.com and kysports.tv, right?
No.
Is it not .tv?
kysports.tv.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you said something else.
Did I? Okay, well,
you always throw shade at us, James.
No, I don't. You guys have got a much bigger platform. Look at all that stuff. Yeah, man.
Well,
all across the state. Yeah, I know.
We do.
But
we're partners now.
I know.
That's right.
I'm proud of you guys. I appreciate what you do.
This is the 9th episode.
It is indeed. Now, we won't be back next week.
We won't?
Apparently not. We're not going to make 10, are we?
Well, it just depends on how number 9 goes.
I guess so. Tell me, so you like golf. You're a big golf guy.
This is Masters week.
Yep.
And it's also Easter weekend.
That is right.
So it's really the Masters weekend.
Interesting conjunction there, isn't it?
It is. It's the Masters weekend, and it's the Masters golf weekend.
Do they have an Easter service on the course at Augusta?
I'd say that some of the golfers probably do go to a service before their round. I'd say they
will the live golfers be invited to the service, or will they be excommunicated?
Well, I don't really know, but I don't think any of the live golfers will be at the Masters.
Really? None of them are playing in it?
No, I don't think.
I thought they were still kind of cross-pollinating, at least when it came to like the Masters and what the U.S. Open and stuff like that, or they just...
Well, it's just the PGA.
Yeah.
I know, Tiger turned down a huge live contract. But it's like everything. I think a lot of people were complaining that the PGA didn't pay the golfers what they deserve to be paid, that the PGA was actually getting all the money. So
yeah.
I think that's why a lot of the golfers branched off to the LIV tour. But, hey, money talks.
But now, does that diminish the Masters if these?
No, it doesn't. All the big name golfers are playing in the Masters.
Okay.
And I think actually
so it's just the ones that need to cover their gambling debts that are on the LIV
probably.
Tour then, right?
They probably play with Jordan too.
Yeah.
So you like how I poked that in there?
Yeah.
I think they've got a lot of guys have Xander Schauffele as the favorite to win. A lot of the golfers, Phil Mickelson and Tiger, they're getting a little older. But everybody knows that Masters weekend, anything can happen with Tiger.
It hadn't happened in recent years.
It's not been. He's won it sooner than he won it later.
Yeah. When was that?
He won it in the last 5 years. 2019, yeah.
See, that's how close I pay attention to golf. I thought he was still running from people.
You probably won't, John, what's his name, McEnroe, was he the tennis player? you probably wait for him to make a comeback.
I thought it was Jimmy. I thought Jimmy Connors had a chance to win it.
Yeah. Okay,
actually, I was rooting for Billie Jean King, but they won't let her out there. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm not really a fan of golf. Now we've talked about this with baseball, as well. I like covering.
And it's not
sports.
baseball. It's really more softball than baseball for me.
That you.
I can sit at home and watch a Major League Baseball game or a college baseball game.
Now I do kind of like the college baseball a little more. But back to the golf thing. The thing about golf is, I appreciate skill once again, but I'm not really just a fan of watching the game or playing the game and that kind of stuff. But I do think there are things they could do in golf that would make it more exciting.
Like what?
Well, like maybe if you had a defender at the hole, and then what you had to do is you had to fight them off with your clubs, like sort of like a fencing kind of thing. And they had to cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha like this. And then if you defeated them, you got to take the shot. And if you didn't, then you got to skip it and you get a two-stroke penalty. You just move on to the next hole.
You do have a defender yourself.
Uh-huh.
You have to fight yourself.
Enough for me, though. I need to see some scrapping.
Mississippi.
Yes, of course.
That's
Mississippi's
a Mississippi
coming out.
thing. Yeah,
I mean, you got to fight your way out.
That's a Mississippi thing. I can't win with James. I win probably 4 out of 10. But I'm not winning right now. So let's talk about. No, we're going to talk what?
Well, but why do you love golf?
Why do I love golf?
Yeah.
Because I love to play golf. Mm-hmm. It's relaxing. It's very relaxing. I mean, because it doesn't matter. I'm not a professional, so if I lose, I just lose.
There's nothing on the line for you.
Nothing on the line at all. And the guys that talk trash to me for beating me they're losers for talking trash to a loser. I'm not good. I mean, so what good does it do to talk trash about beating me? Okay, you know. Yeah. But I do win. I mean, I don't lose every time I play. But it also, it's probably one of my biggest networking avenues that I have.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, a lot of people I think that's really why they play golf. I mean, it's not so much about, it is about the game, but it's also just kind of walking and talking and, maybe talking a little nonsense sometimes or whatever, but just walking and talking and getting to know people and that kind of jazz.
It is. I mean, I've gained a lot of friends playing golf.
Yeah.
And actually, I play golf. The average age of the guys that I play golf with is like 72.
Is that right?
Yeah. And they beat me all the time.
Yeah.
Because they've been playing for probably 60 years.
They still call you whippersnapper sometimes?
No, well, they used to, but now it's, I'm 48 now, so I'm not the youngest. Yes, I've aged out. But it's just, like I said, it's networking. Mm-hmm. You can get away on a pretty day, just go hang out at the golf course. Yeah. And then after you're done, we usually find somewhere to go eat and hang out. So it's just, it's a relaxing day for me.
Now, see, and that's on the coverage side of things. That's golf is one of my favorite sports to cover because it's a meditative process is kind of what I think of,
So it's the same as playing.
Yeah, but except I don't have to worry about where my ball goes and all that jazz. I get to watch
before the summer's over. Mm-hmm. Before the summer's over, James Brown will be on the golf course with Trevin Hayes before the summer's over, playing golf.
We can take a stab at it.
Playing, yeah. See, that's out. Just try it. That's all.
No, I've played golf before. I hated it.
Well, I'm gonna make you like it. Okay, I'm gonna make you like it.
Yeah, are we gonna walk all 18?
Lord, no.
Well, why not?
Have you my weight? Have you not saw? Have you not?
Well, you said you're on a diet.
I am, but that don't mean I'm walking. That don't mean I'm walking 6,600 yards.
Do you know? For the most part,
if you pack my bags, I'll walk.
Well, I got to pack my own bags, right?
But you can pack them both.
No, I can't pack them both.
Yeah.
That's not the point. Look, this is the deal though. I usually don't use a golf cart whenever I'm covering tournaments and whatnot. I just walk the course.
Whenever I go, I've covered a few at Glasgow, and I've covered some at other places. That's when I call to tell them I'm coming to cover it. They have to have a cart. I'm not walking.
Really?
No.
That goes back to that meditative thing for me, like just the walking in, checking out things, and all that jazz.
Yeah, I don't practice meditation.
You don't like walking in the woods either, do you?
No. Why would you? Why would you want to walk in Barren County? Have you seen the size of some of these rattlesnakes?
Oh, they don't scare me, man. I'm from Mississippi, and then I was in the Army in Texas. Have you seen rattlesnakes in Texas before?
The NCAA National Championships. I can't. It's another day. He's not going to let me win.
No, go ahead. What do you want to say?
Let's on the men's side.
Yes.
People really didn't understand how good UConn was, but I think they showed pure dominance through the whole tournament.
They did.
The big debate that I've been seeing now is UConn now a blue blood mm-hmm. in the NCAA?
I mean, I guess it depends on how you define it. Is Indiana out and UConn replaces them? Because Indiana hadn't done anything in a long time.
Is Kansas out?
Yeah.
I mean, UConn has 4 national championships.
Yeah, in 24 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's good. I guess here's how I would define the argument about blue blood. How much money does the program rake in? That's where the blue comes from in the blood. Right.
And that's why I don't understand. They don't consider Louisville a blue blood.
No.
But they bring in more money than just about anybody.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know exactly how you would want to define it. But I guess what I'm getting at is that kind of TV revenue, TV prominence, national prominence. People in California wearing Duke gear, never seen North Carolina in their life.
Right.
You don't see
It's the
that.
same with Kentucky.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
you
don't
go
see
to
that a whole lot
you
with
go
like
to
Louisville
Disney
or
and there's
UConn and that
UK
kind of
T-shirts
jazz.
everywhere, and these guys have probably never been in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, they've certainly never set foot on campus. So, I think that's kind of how you define it. It's got nothing to do with the number of championships. It's got to do with perception and that kind of spin-off revenue that comes from that prominence. I mean, it's like the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL. I mean, what have the Dallas Cowboys done in the last 25 years? Nothing.
Choke.
Yeah. But they're still, they're still like the number one brand in the NFL.
The Dallas
just
Cowboys are
because.
horrible. You're probably a Dallas Cowboy fan too.
No, I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I do like Dak Prescott.
Because he's from Mississippi.
He
played
from-
he played at
he's from
Mississippi
Louisiana.
State.
Yes, he played at Mississippi State. I do like him. I like the dude. But again, I like Lamar Jackson because he played at Louisville. I mean, and I like watching him play. So I mean, it's got nothing.
Lamar needs to hire an agent.
He does need to hire an agent.
He needs to hire an agent.
Everybody needs an editor. Everybody probably needs an agent when you're dealing with a certain amount.
Would
of
you be
capital.
my editor
I mean, if you need
for
me,
everything?
I don't know about everything.
I don't know about the pay. I don't know if I can pay you that much, but I need an editor.
You
Now,
might
here's
need
where
some social media oversight.
here's where we're going to be a little. I may win this one.
Well, if you say so.
I'm going to win this one.
Well, I don't know where you're going, but go ahead.
I'm going to win it.
All right.
The women's national championship. Mm-hmm. Nobody really had LSU going to the Elite Eight.
No.
Nobody really had them going to the Final Four.
No.
And I'd say nobody but the LSU fans had them winning the national championship.
Yeah.
So this was the most watched women's NCAA tournament in the history of the game.
Yep.
The most watched game. Mm-hmm. And I forgot the gap between the women's and the men's as far as the television viewers.
Yeah. It was 9.9 million on the women's side.
On the women.
Yeah.
Now, great game. Great game. I thought it was a great game.
Here's what I didn't think it was necessarily a great game. It was fun, but it wasn't great.
I just thought what made it a great game is Caitlin Clark with her run to cut the lead to 4.
Yeah, I think it was 5. I think it was 5 on that.
5?
On that
I thought it was 4.
It may have been, but
But did it not amaze you how everything but the actual game was talked about after the game?
it didn't amaze me in the least because that's what people do. And that's why I don't engage in all that nonsense. Because in the whole process of that, 2 things got totally overlooked. One is Alexis Morris, who had a great game and probably should have been the player of the game.
But it wasn't. I don't think they didn't give Angel Reese player of the game. They gave her the most outstanding player for the tournament. From what I understood.
Yes, but I probably should have gone to
She had
Caitlin
34
Clark.
double-doubles.
That's fine.
For the season.
But we're talking about the tournament.
She had them every game.
I know, but somebody...
She was the most outstanding player.
Somebody scored more points than anybody in history.
And she lost. You don't give it to the
Well,
loser.
therein lies the problem.
You
in
don't,
terms of those kinds of
James,
awards.
if you don't win the ball game, you don't get to go get ice cream.
Which goes back to my point. I really thought Alexis Morris should have been the most valuable player for LSU.
For the whole tournament.
Yeah.
No.
If you go watch all those games, I know what Reese does, and I know she's very good, and she is their best player. But Alexis
I really
Morris,
I don't call her by her name anymore.
What do you call her?
The Bayou Barbie. That's what she goes by now.
Well, that's funny.
She's the
Which is also ironic, seeing as how she's not from the Bayou.
right, but that's where she's representing.
That's great.
She's from Baltimore, I think.
Yes, that's right.
She's from Baltimore. Her and her cousin both won a national championship.
Yeah, do you know of those 2 teams, there was only one player from the state, as far as the top 7, from the state they were playing for.
I think you told me that.
Caitlin Clark was the only one.
From Iowa.
Yep.
Now let me ask you this: If Iowa loses everybody but Caitlin Clark,
Yeah.
if you're Caitlin Clark, you've already made history with scoring your 3-pointers. You've made history, and you desire a national championship.
Yeah.
Do you transfer?
No, it doesn't strike me that's, she wants to win a national championship where she is.
She can't win a national championship at Iowa.
I don't think she can either. But, the transfer portal, as LSU demonstrated, changes the dynamics real quick.
That's the thing. That's the other thing. And I know we've got to go, but, I'm a huge Louisville fan. Mm-hmm. We won 4 games this year. Mm-hmm. Kim Mulkey took in 2 years. How many games? Do you remember how many games LSU won last year?
They went 26-6 last year.
Last year, what about the year before that?
They won 9 games. The year
9
before
games.
That. Yep.
So in 1 year,
in the COVID lockout year, so to speak, they won 9 games.
In 1 year, she went from 9 to 26.
And she brought back pretty much every player that had been on the team when they only won 9.
Right.
This team, there was only 1 returning player.
Right.
Alexis Morris.
Right. So, and that's my point. So, as of right now, Louisville only has 1 returning player. JJ Traynor.
Yeah.
Kenny Payne's went out and hit the portal. Mm-hmm. Brought in some very big time names.
Yeah.
Do you think that he'll make the transition to turn that program around? Do you think he has the ability as a coach? I'm not saying win a national championship next year.
No, and the answer is I don't know because I've not seen him as a head coach.
Gotcha.
Now, Kim Mulkey has proven what she's capable of doing.
Gotcha.
And all of her teams reflect her attitude, too.
I love her attitude.
For all the people who were bashing on LSU, you just need to pay attention to Kim Mulkey because that's the tone she sets.
She wore a tiger suit to the game. That's swag. We got it, James. We have to take a break.
Yeah.
But you said you didn't know Kenny Payne as a head coach yet?
I don't, so we'll see how it works out.
Kenny Payne won those games. We'll be right back.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Lockshield Partners Accounting Services provides professional and trusted expertise to our clients. Our team offers individual, business, and nonprofit tax preparation services, as well as payroll, bookkeeping, and consulting year-round. Call or visit our office today so our team can work for you while you and your loved ones focus on what really matters, because together we plan.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Welcome back to Tell Me About It. I'm James Brown, 104 The Score. We're here on Glasgow EPB Channel 6, the local channel, also on the Glasgow EPB YouTube channel. I have Barren County baseball coach Derrick Alfonso. At a last minute, I asked if he'd like to come talk to us, and he's like, sure. So very gracious of you to come.
Yeah, I was in the dugout at the game about 3 hours ago. So, yeah, no, it worked out well.
Yeah, so, you guys have played a really tough schedule to open the season. Had a really good win Monday night against LaRue County. They're a solid program. Yeah. Picked up another win Tuesday morning against Western Hills. And you let a bunch of younger guys get a little bit of a chance in that game.
Yeah, I told the guys, we started off, grueling schedule like we talked about on your radio show, and we were. There were some games that we could have won in that stretch. We started off 2-5, and there were some really close games, some one-run losses to South Warren. The Greenwood game kind of got away from us late. But there was definitely some games that we had that we could have gone either way, just depending on how it went. But I told the guys after the Greenwood game before spring break started, there were certain spots on our team that are pretty much set, and then there are other spots that we're still competing to find out who's gonna be the guy the rest of the season. So I basically told everybody, like, look, here's the deal. We're gonna through spring break, we're gonna give everybody an opportunity to play. We're gonna see what we've got, and then we're gonna go from there. And we're gonna make our decision after spring break, because then we got districts coming up and all that stuff. By that time, we have to have our pretty much our lineup set, and there'll be a few moving pieces. Just depends on who pitching, but for the most part, get a feel for what our lineup's going to be the rest of the season. So, today we started, I think maybe 3 or 4 freshmen, along with the 3 or 4 sophomores and a couple juniors and a senior, and we just kind of went that route. Some guys that hadn't had as many at bats, and just kind of let them go and just see some things, and it went well. We won. The competition wasn't as great as it had been this morning, but we still came away with a win and had some good things happen. So we're just looking forward to hopefully getting to the point of the season where we kind of have everything situated and we're ready to go through districts.
Now, let's go back prior to the start of the spring break week, and you mentioned you guys were 2-5 coming into spring break. Played Taylor County, played Central Hardin twice, I think it was, South Warren, I think Bowling Green was one of the other ones, Ohio County.
Yep.
Now, in that stretch, I think your pitching's not been bad at all.
No, it hasn't.
The hitting's been maybe a little bit behind.
Yeah, the hitting, JP Hyde had started off on fire. I think he was hitting 430 coming into spring break. I think he's at 400 right now. Braxton Jenkins had really come along, and my stepson, he's really hitting the ball. I think he's like 360, 380, something like that. Other than that, we've been struggling to put together hits, and that's something we've talked about as a coaching staff, is just put together, 3 or 4 hits in an inning. That's something we've struggled with. But really, some of the games we've hit the ball really well. They haven't fallen. We've hit it hard right at people 8, 9, 10, 11 times a game. We're in trouble. As long as we're putting the ball in play, they're not going to hear a lot from me. The big thing that's gotten to me over those first 7 games, especially, are the errors and when they've happened.
Right.
And that's been the biggest thing that has caused us to lose some of these games. Like the Bowling Green game, if you look at that game, we lose 9-1, and you look at that score and you're like, oh my God, Bowling Green just killed you. Well, okay, but it was 1-0. In the second inning, they have nobody on base, 2 outs, and we walk 2 guys in a row, and then we make a couple errors, and all of a sudden they put up a 6 spot where they had no one on base and 2 outs. That inning doesn't happen, and all of a sudden that game from there flows at 3-1 the rest of the game. And we had other opportunities in that game to score more runs, but when it's 8-1, it's a little bit tougher to put down bunts and things like that. We're not going to do things like that just to score a run that we would have done had the game been 2-1 or 3-1. So some of those games have gotten out of hand. The Ohio County game, we made an error that cost us 3 runs, and we lose that game 4-1. Greenwood, same thing. We run a couple of bunt defenses that we've practiced 1,000 times that don't work out, and all of a sudden they score 8 runs, and maybe they should have scored 4, maybe 5, and we had already scored 3. So it's one of those things where really the main concern right now is defensively. Are we going to be strong enough to make the plays at the big moments? Because we've made some really nice plays. We got to make the plays when the game's on the line, and that's what we're looking for. Baseball
sometimes is a game of pressure points, right?
Yes, exactly.
Because what happens is if you put the pressure on them, the game could be completely different. They put the pressure on you, and now suddenly you're the one looking up.
Yep.
And so I guess that's it. Maybe a lot of these sophomores that you had and juniors, they played quite a bit last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're still younger players in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they're still young.
So maybe they're trying to adjust early in this season to those pressure moments?
Yeah, I think maybe some of that. I think a lot of it right now is I do. And we're sitting at 4-5 right now, looking to get over 500 in the next, couple days. But I really think right now I like the way that the team is bonding together. I do really like the way that the team interacts with each other. I think that was a big problem we had last year. We had certain groups of guys, you know what I mean, and they didn't always mesh with each other. This year, I think as a team, as a group together, I think they're all kind of meshing really, really well, and I think they take, at least so far, they've taken their hits, and they'll come and they'll say, I screwed up. That's on me. And I just look at them. I'm like, look, some of them will be like, I'm sorry, Coach. And I'm like, look, don't apologize. Like, it's not one of those things where you have to say you're sorry. It's not like you did it on purpose. Like, now you tell me if you did it on purpose, then yeah, come tell me you're sorry. But if it's just something that you just did this mistake, my biggest thing is just next time you're in that situation, next time you're in that spot, don't do it again. Don't do the same thing wrong. That's what we're looking at coaches, and I think as mentors, you look at these kids and you say, okay, you screwed that up. Here's what you did. Here's what you can't do in the future. And let's try not to do it again over and over, because that's when it becomes a problem. Is if it starts happening over and over and over again, that's when we have to do something where, hey, you might not play as much because this is something you still continue to screw up that we have to get fixed.
Let's talk a little bit about your seniors. What do you have? Two, right? You got Gavin McCord and
Braden Brown.
Braden Brown.
Yeah.
And I don't know Braden all that well.
Yeah, Braden was the one that he was starting at first base for us last year towards ACL in the first game of the season. And he's come back. He actually pitched the last couple innings, 2 or 3 innings today for us. And Gavin's been, those are two guys that I think they know their role really well. I think that they understand that their role on this team is as leaders of kids that are younger than them.
Yeah.
And getting them to play the right way and controlled. And they're going to have their opportunities. And then there are going to be some games where they don't have, as many opportunities. It kind of just depends on game flow for them and really how they're doing at bat to at bat, plate appearance to plate appearance, and defensively. And right now, I think within 9 games in, I think they've both started. I think Braden started maybe 8 of them, and Gavin started probably about 5.
Yeah.
And with Gavin, the thing with Gavin is Gavin has some arm issues, so it's hard to put him defensively in certain spots because he's going through some arm problems that apparently it doesn't look like. I don't want to say it's not serious because it's one of those arm things that it's not going to get any better. It's one of those things that he's going to have to play through the pain. And there's certain days where the pain's too much for him to throw. And he was, our backup catcher. Can't put him behind the plate because can't really throw, to the bases. So it's one of those things where he's getting acclimated to the outfield a little bit. But he had a couple hits today. And both of them have been swinging it pretty well. Right now, I've got the good problem I have is I've got a lot of kids with the competition that are making it difficult to fill out a lineup card. And that's a good problem to have as a coach, where it's difficult to fill out a lineup card because you got multiple guys in certain positions that are playing well enough to take that spot. And that's what we just got to figure out as coaches to put us in the best position to win.
Well, and I noticed, I don't know if it's been in every game, but you were using Gavin more as a DH, I guess, because of the arm issue.
Yeah,
so a lot of his playing time has been in that DH role.
Yeah, a lot of his has been in the DH. And like I said, he's played the outfield probably 2 or 3 games. And Brownie has been at first. Defensively, he's our best option right now at first base. And it could go, and me and him have had conversations. He's a really level-headed kid. Me and him have had conversations about, Gav, if you don't hit, you may be in that situation where you're playing first base, but we're DHing for you, or vice versa, or some things like that. And we actually had a freshman that stepped up against LaRue County. I gave him an opportunity first start, and he ripped 2 balls and got 2 base hits. So again, just making it more difficult on me to fill out that lineup card. But they're both the thing I'm really proud of both those guys is that they're both. Really leading the team as far as being mentors and really keeping the guys up. And that's what I'm really proud of those guys for right now.
As the season goes along, let me start here. Let's talk about your district a little bit, because you guys are doing the back-to-back games this year in the district. I don't think the 15th's ever done that before. Warren East comes in and I guess brings in a new idea.
Yeah, Coach, man, look at me. I'm completely losing my my thing. It's been a long day out in the heat. Warren East coach came in and brought that up, and I was completely for it because that's how I played when I was in high school. I was in the 14th, played at Warren Central.
Yeah.
And I liked the idea of playing back to back, just because you're not going to face the same arm every time. You have to attack. Teams with 3 or 4 different arms. You're going to get to see more players and especially more pitchers, which I think benefits everybody. I think you get a real feel for really who's playing the best and who has the best arms and who has the best, lineups and who can go through those games and and compete and win. So I think it's better that way, because I think in years past, especially in this district, if you have a stud on the mound, an ace, you're going to see him every single district game.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, that team's going to get the 1 seed because they've got this guy that nobody can touch,
Right.
And this year it's going to be more of, it's going to be more of a complete team. We'll get that 1 and then the 2 and the 3 and the 4, and then we'll go from there. But I really like it. I think it's going to be beneficial for fans too. I think it's going to be better for sports coverage, because it's and the thing I love about it is we don't have and this is what I told them. They were like, well, when are we going to start it? And I said, well, we need to start it after spring break, and not only just after spring break. We need to have a week after spring break where we get back acclimated to school. Then let's start it, because it's only going to take 3 weeks. Where in the past it's taken 6 weeks. We're starting 2 weeks before spring break, and we're last year we played Glasgow like before we went to Florida, and it's like, we don't even know who we are.
Right.
They don't know who they are, and we're all of a sudden we're playing a game that really matters, where it's going to push you into a postseason spot. So I think it's beneficial for everybody. I think it's going to work out really well.
So when you look at the district, I mean, of course, Warren East, I would think coming in they would be a favorite because they were really good last year.
I think they're the favorite in the region.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think if you ask anybody, I think they're the favorites in the region. I think they're 6-3. They just lost a game to some team in Florida, and they lost 2 to St. X, who was like ranked in the nation or something to start the season. Other than that, they've beat everybody they've played, and they're the favorites, and they deserve to be. The way they played last year and what they brought back, they deserve to be. Now, where it's different, baseball as football and basketball. Like Warren Central, for instance. And I say this, and I don't want to get anybody mad or anything, but like Warren Central wasn't losing in the district or in the first game of the region. It just wasn't happening. Baseball, it happens every year.
Yeah.
The best team in the state could lose the first game of the district because A, those teams know each other really, really well. They know their strengths, they know their weaknesses. And B, you can have a pitcher that's great, but all of a sudden he loses control. He starts walking people get on base, and then one hit, all of a sudden there's 3 runs, and people get tight. In baseball, you can upset, Timothy can beat Goliath in baseball.
Yeah.
In football and basketball, it's much, much rarer for a team, like a South Warren in football or in the years past, or Bowling Green to lose to, somebody that just doesn't match up as well. But in baseball, it's absolutely possible. So, yeah, are they the favorites? I absolutely believe they're the favorites. Can they be beat? Yes, anybody can be beat in high school baseball. You just got to put the right pressure on them at the right time.
Now, I thought coming into the season, you and Glasgow had some similarities. You both had pitchers last year that were seniors that were kind of had been their key pitchers. Going back to that district matchup stuff, they pitched a lot of the district games in the district tournament. But otherwise had some younger guys that you were going to be calling up to kind of fill in those roles this year, and probably in the lineup as well. So when you came in the season, did you kind of see the similarities? Or
on the pitching side, lineup side, not so much, because Glasgow, and I'm not saying that they're, I don't really know what they are because I haven't seen them yet. But Glasgow's top like 7 hitters last year were all seniors, and they were really, really good. And I kept telling people last year, we won the 2 district games, and we got the 1 seed in the regular season, and everybody's like, oh man, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but they're really good. Like we won those 2 games, but in reality, last year, Glasgow's team as a whole was probably better than us as a whole. Now, we beat them twice, but then the district championship, they destroyed us. We just had a really bad game, and I think that was one of those games that just got out of control. But they had a really talented group of seniors last year, and some really, really good hitters. I mean, they might have had 3 or 4 guys hitting over 400 last year. I mean, they could really, really swing it. We just had a couple guys on the mound that could keep them at bay for the most part, those 2 games we played in the regular season. The difference this year, I think, is we have a lot of guys returning that have been there and done that, whereas I think it's going to take them some more time, because I think most of the guys in their lineup now are new to their lineup. The pitching is very similar as far as, we lost our top 2 guys, they lost their top couple guys, and that's very similar,
one last thing. So then Allen County's also in the district, and I don't know much about them. They've been down for Allen County in recent years, but I never think they're going to be down for long. Yeah,
I think Brantley does a really good job over there, and they I've looked at them a little bit this year, and they've struggled at times. I think LaRue beat them 11-0, and the only reason I knew that is because I was looking at LaRue before we played them, and I noticed that they beat Allen 11-0, and then we beat LaRue. But you know, it's one of those things where we're playing LaRue, and I'm like, we played really, really well, and they're a very good team. Like you can see it. They loaded the bases the last 2 innings. They had a chance. And they've got some really good hitters. They threw their number one against us, which he was a very, very good pitcher. We just, for whatever reason, that's what I tell the kids, like, try to find that every day. For whatever reason, we just came out really, really swinging it against LaRue. Other than that, though, with Allen, I haven't really seen many of their games or even their results. But I know Brantley does a really good job, and they beat us last year. You know, that's the thing. That was our one district loss in the regular season last year. So that's the thing. I don't think it's going to be hard for our kids to get up for the Allen County game this year because, you know, that was one of the things last year where, you know, that was a game that was a team that we were better than them last year. And again, that was last year, but they beat us. You know, it's the same scenario as the Glasgow when we were talking about Glasgow. Like we were a better team top to bottom last year. But we went there and they beat us, and they beat us pretty handily. It wasn't even really a close game. I mean, that game was one of those that was never really in doubt. So, like I said, at baseball, you just never know. But I do know that Brantley does a really good job, and I respect his program, and I think that they're, even if they're not great this year, which I don't really know, I think they'll get better throughout the entire season.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming in and talking to us on the short notice.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
And good luck to you guys as the season goes along. I look forward to those back-to-back games. I think they'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I do too.
All right. This has been Derrick Alfonso, Barren County Trojans baseball coach here on Tell Me About It on the Glasgow EPB Channel 6, the local channel, and 104thescore.com, kysports.tv as well. We'll be right back.
At Don Franklin, we're more than a group of car dealerships. We're hardworking, everyday people of Kentucky. We strive daily to give 110% to our customers, our employees, and our families. We are committed to providing everyone with a safe and reliable vehicle, and we continue our tradition of supporting our local communities. At all 24 dealerships across Kentucky, we will treat you like family. Don Franklin Family of Dealerships, we are Kentucky.
Lockshield Partners Accounting Services provides professional and trusted expertise to our clients. Our team offers individual, business, and nonprofit tax preparation services, as well as payroll, bookkeeping, and consulting year-round. Call or visit our office today so our team can work for you while you and your loved ones focus on what really matters, because together we plan.
Extreme Fitness has doubled in size, now with over 8,000 square feet of co-ed weights and an upgraded 90-degree saline therapy pool. The Extreme Fitness campus also holds the exclusive Extreme Fitness for Women complex and Extreme Blend smoothie bar. You have to experience the variety of classes to realize the impact they have on their clients. Personal training is with the best in the business and is available and tailored to fit individuals. So start your journey today at Extreme Fitness and Health Club.
Trevin Hayes back with the James Brown.
I don't know if I'm A. I'm
We
A.
go
James
through this
Brown.
every week.
I know. Well, I mean, D. James Brown is, 6 feet under or so.
Finally. You know they didn't bury him for several months. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
I'll tell you a story when we get done with the show about
Okay.
about taking a long time to bury people. It's William Faulkner-esque.
Okay.
Anyway, James Brown, 104thescore.com. We're going to talk a little bit about some baseball and softball here on Tell Me About It. Glasgow EPB Channel 6, local channel. You can catch it also on the Glasgow EPB YouTube channel, kysports.tv as well. Barren County's softball team is undefeated. We had Coach Murphy on here last week talking about his team.
And I went to the game.
You did go to a game for how long?
I went to the game.
You were there for the game between them and Glasgow last Thursday. They ended up winning that game 10-1. Glasgow's only run was a home run by Jakiley Green.
Eighth grader.
Eighth grader, yep. And so,
And you know what was impressive to me about that home run?
What's that?
She hit it to the deepest part of the park.
Yeah.
She hit it dead center.
She's not very big, but she does have power, and as she's been coming up, she's been demonstrating some of that power.
Now, just because I don't like going to watch it doesn't mean that I don't understand and know the game.
Oh yeah, I didn't figure.
But you don't have to be big.
No.
You just got to roll your hips and quick wrist.
Yep. And she's a good athlete if you've seen her play basketball, and she's playing shortstop as well, so she's a good athlete. But, I mean, the story really is kind of Barren County this year. They're undefeated. The statewide polls that we cooperate in putting out these days for softball, they were ranked 20th in that latest poll. South Warren, which is also, I think, still undefeated, they may have lost a game down in, I don't know if they were going to Cal Ripken Experience or what this week, but they're ranked number 3. They're considered one of the top teams. I think Greenwood's in the top 15 or so as well. But they're right there in the marching order. A couple of big games last week. Mentioned the Glasgow game. They also beat Warren East 7-6. They were up 6-0 in that game, and Warren East, as they do because they're a good program, came back and put some pressure on them. And Riley Reed had a home run in the game and then a double that drove in the insurance run to give them that win. And then on Saturday they beat Hazard, that was passing through, beat them 7-0. Chloe Witcher, I think she had 15 strikeouts against Glasgow. She may have had 13 or so against Warren East. I think she had like 12 or 13 against Hazard. She's also an 8th grader, pitching real well for them this year. So, and I mentioned Riley Reed. She was 4 for 4 against Glasgow and 4 for 4 against Warren East as well. And she may have been 3 for 4 against Hazard. So she's been lighting it up. Of course, Katie Murphy got off to a hot start. She's cooled off a little bit, but she's committed to play Division I softball.
I talked to her aunt, and her aunt said that they played somebody that had a very slow pitcher.
Yeah.
And it threw her timing off.
Yeah. I think that was the weekend before. I'm trying to remember. Maybe it was Hancock County. Because Barren only won that game 3-0, but
guess what? I talked to one of the softball parents via text, Facebook, and Hancock County, Caverna played Hancock County maybe Monday.
Yeah.
And it was 12-0.
I think it was 15-2.
15-2?
Something like that.
So I thought they said it was 12-0. Maybe they got beat 12-0 the other game.
Yeah,
so I don't think
they've
won
two or three
a game.
games down there.
They haven't won a game down in Florida.
Yeah, Hancock's not. I mean, look, I think they were ranked in the top 10 in the preseason poll in Region 2.
I think they said she's got they have a Division I pitcher.
Yeah.
That throws at 65, 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, and but I'm not sure that's who pitched against Barren, because they were talking about the fact that, I thought it was her, they were talking about the fact that the pitches were pretty slow. So I'm not sure that's who actually pitched against Barren in that game.
Gotcha.
But anyway, Chloe Witcher one hit them. I mean, that was really the key to the game, that and a couple of home runs that Barren had in that game. So they're doing well. They're one of the top teams in the 4th region, which shouldn't be surprising. Their district is loaded, though, because, as I mentioned, Warren East, which has been really good lately, state contender. And then Allen County had a young team last year. I'm not sure how strong Allen's pitching is, but their hitting is going to be some of the best in the region. They can really slug it. So, that district's going to be strong. And Glasgow's not as bad as some of their results would have you believe, but they are also, as I just mentioned, in that same loaded district.
Baseball.
Yep.
I haven't watched a baseball game yet.
Yep.
But I do know, I'm trying to look it up. I think the kid from Hart County is either leading the state or top 3 or 4 in the state in strikeouts.
Yeah. Okay.
From what I understand, he's a gunslinger.
Yeah. I've not really spent a lot of time looking at Hart County yet. I've just kind of been following Glasgow and Barren, and we heard from Coach Alfonso in this prior segment, and he was talking about his team, how they're turning the corner. I think Glasgow's also kind of starting to find some parts. Baseball, man, it's just hard to measure baseball until you get about a month into the season.
Yes, he is ranked number 1 in the state. He has 46 strikeouts.
Pretty impressive.
It is?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't strike people out. I got struck out.
No, really, James, if somebody threw a fastball, I could hit it in 31W. But if they threw me a curveball, I'd tear my ACLs. It was bad.
You were facing the other direction when you finished your swing?
Yeah, I was turned all the way around. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
All right, well, I wasn't very good at baseball, so we won't even discuss
Yeah,
that
it was
part of
bad.
it.
I didn't say I wasn't good. I just couldn't hit a curveball.
I wasn't good at all. I couldn't hit anything. All right, this has been Tell Me About It. James Brown, Trevant Hayes. You guys, we'll be back next week, I think, for episode 10.